Hello, good evening, everybody, and good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from in the world, and welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Chat Show. And this evening, I'm really glad to have as a guest Jack Eckhart Langelund. And Jack, good evening. Thank
Good
you
evening.
for joining and thank you for accepting to be a guest. I'm really glad you're here for this hour. And I'll tell you a little bit about Jack so you have an idea. Okay, Jack is from Denmark and he started his spiritual journey 30 years ago, starting mainly with healing and trance, and subsequently Jack started also the development and training in evidential mediumship. Jack's background, he told me that he worked. Hello, Linda. Good evening. Hello, Bernadette. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Jack told me that his background, his earthly job, he worked for 40 years in the military. Is that correct, Jack?
I didn't work in 40 years. I've been a part of the military in the reserve and have 40 something years and still part of, but not active these days.
Okay.
I
And
took my chief back then.
sorry, Jack, the audio is
I
not
took my
really
chief.
clear.
Oh, I took my teacher training 40 years ago within the military.
Okay, thank you. And he started teaching in 2005 in his school of mediumship between spirits. He's also the founder of the Danish Spiritualist Association, uh, which was founded in 2017, and Jack still actively works in his association in Denmark, but not only in Denmark. He's been working also across the UK and the spiritualist churches in the UK for the last 20, 20 years. So, good evening, Jack, again. Uh, the subject matter for this evening is evidence in evidential mediumship. That's what Jack chose to talk about. So, Jack, can you tell us, give us an overview of the importance of, or explain? I know it's a basic question, but for those who are listening or will be watching the recording, uh, what is an evidence in mediumship?
So first of all, it is important with the mediumship within the evidence, or with the evidence within the mediumship. Basically, because without the evidence, it's not the mediumship. I believe we have to be aware of with the evidence within mediumship. There's different degrees, there are different reasons for why it is important. Main thing is within spiritualism, mediumship is the part where we through the mediumship bring evidence for the belief within spiritualism. and with that, we bring evidence for the afterlife and the continuous life of the human soul. So that's where the evidence is brought in. It's also to bring that's the communicator we're working with. Uh, uh, when we're having a communicator, to bring that communicator close, in my belief, my experience, we are bringing them close through working with the evidence. That's how we learn the communicator as a medium. We learn the communicator to know, so we can express the communicator, the loved one in spirits. So it's not just saying, "Oh, Fulvia, I do have your mom here," and your mom talks about your aura, auric field, or talks about random things. Because to me, without the evidence for the presence of mom, it's nothing. We can just say anything if there's not any evidence to back it up. So that's why it's one of the things why it's really important to me that we are looking into the evidence within the mediumship, and that's where it differs from like the psychic, where we actually bring in evidence for the presence of spirits, but with evidence from spirit about the spirit communicator, not bringing evidence for what we can read in our recipient's auric field. That's a big difference. That's not mediumship. That's psychic.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, it's important to know the difference between psychic and psychic connection and a mediumistic connection. I'm sure that for those who train or teach, it's an important distinction to know and to recognize. Um, so, can you talk us through the different types of evidence?
Yes, I can. I can. That we talk about different types of evidence. We have the factual evidence. We do have emotional evidence. We have mental evidence. We have spiritual evidence. To me, the most important one is probably the factual one. That is the leading one to me. That's factual things about the deceased soul. Uh, um, because through that we can just have the example with mom. With mom, she passed away with lung cancer. Her name was Sophia Maria, and that was her name. It was just not just a random name, and it's factual things around the person. Sometimes more factual than others. Then we have the emotional evidence that's important as well, but that's not. That's when we know we have created that connection through the factual evidence, creating that connection between the spirit communicator and the recipient. Then we can bring in the emotional evidence that is more like memories and things like that. That brings emotions up. We have the same category. We have a little bit of mental evidence as well. And then we of course have the spiritual evidence that is more like the evidence of, in my understanding, the evidence of the afterlife, but that they're still there and they're still following us here, what we're doing here in life. So we have, when we have both the factual things that for me is very important, the factual things putting in there. We have a bit of emotional, a little of mental evidence, and then we have the spiritual evidence where they come to talk about. Oh, for a mom is talking about here. She noticed when you were down shopping, you were looking at this sweet bar that was used to be her favorite, and she was aware that you were looking at that the other day. Things like random things like
I
that. It can
see.
be, yeah.
I see.
So it's
And
like telling a story, but where we
yeah,
will bring different aspects of evidence in to bring a fulfilled story about whoever we are working with in spirit. Sometimes we are more sharp on ours. I have to admit that. But it should always be the aim as a medium to bring forward evidence and evidence enough to letting the recipient know who we are working with. So
I see. Thank you, Jack. Great explanation. Um, what is for you the right balance between factual evidence and emotional evidence? If
well,
there's an if there's a a right balance between the two.
as yeah, as I just said, I don't know if you can talk about the balance, but definitely, especially but both when we're doing one-to-one, but also like when we are working platform, the factual to me, as I said, the factual evidence to me is important because the emotional evidence it's become more evidential when we have the factual evidence brought in first, if that makes sense. So
Okay.
when we have the facts, mom's name was Maria Sophia. She lived on Barbanel Street. She became 68 years old, and so on. And then we can bring in the more soft things, the more uh, not necessarily always in that order, but it's just the import to me. It's the importance of bringing the factual in, especially when we work on platform. It's important to quickly confirm who we are within the congregation, to have these factual bits to confirm that who the communicator is, and do they
Yes,
actually belong to
establishing
it.
the communicator is important. Is the main thing, the most
It's
important.
much
To be
easier as a recipient to recognize who the medium is working with if we have the factual things that is how it is. It's not about
yes,
how it felt, not and uh, uh, um, when I'm cheating, I'm always telling my student because it is to fall into that trap where we where we feel them feel the spirit world, feel the emotions, and going into oh they feel as a spirit feel like this, they feel like that, uh, but as a recipient I maybe don't know how they felt.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So, but when we have the factual bits on, then we can talk about how they felt about these factual things. Then we can relate the things. We can relate the different bits of evidence. So the factual evidence built the foundation for the more emotional, spiritual evidence as well.
I guess I guess that that involves the mechanics as well a little bit. Um, but anyway, um, what as a medium and as a teacher, what you what you consider good evidence?
A good evidence, it's more than a one word statement, as we call it. Like a good evidence to me is more of a full story than these one word statements. For example, names. Many people see names as good evidence, but if I'm just giving names like oh, I have the name Mary, I have Peter, I have Michael. Do you understand that? And leave it to the recipient to place these names. To me, that's not evidence. That is information, because it's not me as medium that place these names. But if we as medium says, well, I do have the name Mary here, and I know Mary is if not the communicator's name, Mary is in spirit with the communicator, and are related some way. There is always a relevance for the information spirit is bringing. And it's our job as medium to find out that relevance and bring that forward. And then it becomes evidence instead of information. It's like if we're giving dates, months, and things like that. Just for fun, we were sitting down here one day and going through the year, and I think there was only 1 month going through the year that we didn't have, that wasn't significant one way or another. So
Yes.
basically, no matter what months you mention to me, yeah, that can have a relevance. And if the medium is not telling me what is the relevance for that month, it's just random information. It's
Yes,
nothing to
of
do with
course.
this. But if they say, oh, well, Jack, they're talking about July 29th birthday. Yeah, that's perfect. That's my birthday. You know, it
Yeah.
becomes more relevant. It becomes evidential.
Yes. Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And when we are bringing like a month, a bit, I don't like the phrase where, oh, can I just give you the month of May and there should be a celebration, a birthday, a passing, or something else. We can all probably all take something in the month of May with one of all those occasions that have been offering out.
No. Well.
So when it's me as a recipient that needs to place the information, it might be me as a recipient that makes it into evidence, but it's not the medium that is bringing the evidence. Then the medium is just bringing information.
Yes. Yes. Once they are taken, they become evidence. Yes. Yes.
No,
Um.
it's not becoming evidence. I have to disagree. It's not becoming evidence. The recipient makes it to the evidence. It's not the medium that is bringing it forward as evidence. That's a difference to
Ah.
me that I need to highlight. Me as
Okay.
medium, it's my job to bring forward the information as evidence, not to bring forward random information to let the recipient. Let's take an example. So I'm getting a pineapple. I'm getting a pineapple. Do I understand the pineapple? And recipient says, "Oh yes, I understand the pineapple." That's not evidence. That's just random information. I can just throw without having any connection with spirit. I can, and I've done this as experiment as well. Just thrown out random information, and the recipient will say, "Oh yes, I can take that. I can take that." I'm just putting out random information, nothing to do with spirit. I've made that as an experiment myself.
I
And that's
see.
why it's important to talk about the importance of evidence and what is actually evidence and what is just information. As I say,
Okay.
a name just been given as a name, or a month has just been given as a month. It's just a random information. It's not the medium bringing evidence.
Well, you are the guest, so I can. Um. Yes. Yes. Well. Um. Um, when you teach to your students, how do you approach this topic on evidence?
But how I
Yeah, how do you approach it?
how do I approach it with my students? Well, first of all, I give them the explanation, the theories, I explain the mechanics behind it. Then I'll build some exercises for them, and just not fertilize the eggs, just not just only explaining the exercise, but I will follow them within the exercise. I will follow them in within the energy. Within the energy, I can see how they work. They're actually having spirit there. And use my psychic senses to tap into the energy to see the connection there. And then I will support them and say, hey, you're not with spirit there, you're on the psychic. Try to do so and so on. I will guide them through step by step. And we can do that. If it's a bigger group, we'll have assistant or something that know what we're doing. So, but I will go through the exercise step by step by them, and after the exercise, we'll talk about the exercise and do some adjustments. Sometimes we will have an exercise where people are trying so hard, and they can't make it work, and then I can go in and say, okay, it doesn't work when you're doing like this. Try to do like this instead. So I'll give them a different opportunity, a different way to try things out, instead of just letting them keep on battling with the things that is not working with if it's not working.
I see. It's a very systematic way of like delivering evidence, isn't it?
Uh, I believe what I always have been telling my students when they're starting with me. It's a bit like we can all remember when we started at school, can't we? We started with learning the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. Then we learned to put letters together as words, and putting words together as sentences. Quite mechanical. But today we're not thinking about the mechanics. We're just doing it because it became natural, because we have trained it. So to make things become natural, we need to understand the mechanics in a way, and when we understand the mechanics, I'm not teaching my students to have a checklist, but I teach them to have some form of what is called uh, some sort of order to work with. Uh, and when they are comfortable with working, they'll break out of that order. It's not a checklist, but it's just like a framework, a frame to work within. And when they're comfortable with that becoming more solid in the mediumship, they will break out of that frame, become more natural out of the frame.
I see.
But they need to understand and learn the basics to break out of the frame, to become more natural. And it's not a quick fix. It's I usually say from if you from you start your development to like, for example, stepping up on the platform, probably 5 to 7 years with a proper teaching, with a proper support going with you. So it's actually hard work to become a proper medium, and it's a continuous learning. Even though I've been in the game so many years, I'm still learning. I can still take. It's not as often anymore, obviously. But if I see a course I like, well, I wouldn't hesitate to, okay, I'm just trying to book on that course and see, can I get something out of it? And I
Yes.
think it's important to understand that no matter how many years we have been working, how much experience we have, we can still learn new things. I
Yeah.
often go and see services online and in person when I have the opportunity to as well, to see other mediums work, to learn from how they're working.
Yes.
That have maybe been my best learning experience over the many years. It's watching and studying how other mediums were working in their own way, and not to copy, but just to, oh, this seemed quite brilliant, and this, oh, I really don't want to go there, and so
Yes.
aware of things um, that can inspire me in my further development, because I'm still developing within my mediumship.
Yes.
Just like I started in trance with the trance 30 years ago, I've just taken up again. We have started a little trance circle, so as a part of my mediumship as well as my development. So going back to the roots, going back to basics sometimes is just healthy, even though you have many years of experience.
Mm. Yes, I agree. I agree with you on that. I agree. Um, Another question that is coming to me: Do you think that there's um, there's a difference between the evidence that a medium can give in a private settings as opposed to the evidence that a medium can give in a platform demonstration?
Uh, I'm not sure if I will say there's difference in the evidence we can give, uh, but there's a difference in the way we can present it. One thing is, in a private setting, we will have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. There's a difference how long time people are using on a private setting. In a private setting, you have more time. You have more time to uh, uh, have the communication. You have more time to unfold the evidence, and you can, because it's in a private room, you can be more direct with things. When you're working on the platform, you have to consider that this recipient is on the spot as well.
Yes.
So you have to be a little bit more gentle sometimes in the way you present the evidence, and really have to I believe we have to really be aware of both in private setting and in platform, but we really have to be aware of the way we present it, and simply because our work can be life changing for many people, for good and for bad. So we should have in mind, both on platform and in private setting, that the way we deliver it should be uplifting.
Yes.
It should be We should be very much aware of the recipient. Are they becoming emotional? We cannot allow them to become more emotional when we are in a private room. Uh, um, when we are in a private room, because nobody is looking at them there. When we are on a
Yes.
platform, when the recipient becoming emotional, we can recognize and say, "Are you okay for me to continue?" And just check in with them. Are you
Yes.
okay? When we are sitting there in a congregation, everybody will look at us. Everybody will look at us, and that's why it's very important. So sometimes I can give an example. I've tried a couple of times where I have a dad to a daughter. and he has been misusing his daughter. I cannot just stand there on the platform. I do have your dad here, and he misused you when you were a child. You cannot say that on a platform. Yeah, you can, but you shouldn't, in my opinion, because everybody will look at that girl and say, you know, and will create a very uncomfortable situation for the recipient.
Well, yes, of
In
course.
that, you can be more direct on it in a private thing, but on a platform, you really have to consider that you have somebody sitting there, basically naked, in that situation. So you need to deliver it in another way.
Yes,
You
certainly.
can maybe say
Most
uh, uh,
certainly.
uh, evidence for dad's presence, blah 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 blah. And that is talking about it wasn't the dad he should have been, or something like that. But
Okay,
you can bring a
sorry.
full. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Jack. There's okay. Kiana Hansen. Kiana, I'm going to sorry decline this because we I'm not a mental health expert, and unless Jack is a mental health expert, this is not a question that I guess we can answer, because psychiatrists can answer that kind of question because they can diagnose certain type of mental health issues. Thank you anyway for your question.
Yeah. But as you say Fulvia, I know there are situations where it can feels like it can look like a bit of the same as you say. If you're in doubt, talk to some professionals about it. It's not for us to go into psychology or anything like
Absolutely
that.
not. Absolutely not. Sorry, Jack, but
You know, no worries.
I'm a
I've,
you know
I'm
I'm a
used to that
firm
kind of.
believer that for certain things there are professionals qualified to do that. So
Oh yes,
people
definitely,
go there, go there for those kind
definitely.
of problems. Um, can you um can you go a little bit back in time when you started and tell us about your experiences with with demonstrations and evidence, and the reactions on the platform, the reactions you got on platform and the reactions you got in your private sittings?
Um, yes, I can go back to my early days with the evidential mediumship, because it is the evidence we're talking about. My early days within the evidential mediumship, and that's been become talking a little bit about evidence and how we're getting the evidence, because we have the senses, we have the clairsentience, we have the clairaudience, and we have the clairvoyance, and then we have, some say it's up to eight, I believe five. Rest of is a combination of the five. We can smell, we can taste as well. In my early
Yes.
days, I was primarily sensing. So when I was sensing spirit, if they had something with the heart, I was like having a heart attack. If they had something on the knee, I couldn't stand on my leg, and things like that. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Uh, um, uh, but it worked, because often people said, "Oh, I can see them within you." So that became
Yeah, that's
evident
good.
in that way. But it was a hard way for me to work in. So when I started to go to the college, to Finley College, back in the days, I think first time I was there, it was in 2004. I've done some training courses in Denmark before there, and I think it was 2004. I was at the college first time, and people there was coming there quite often over some years, and I heard other people that talk about, oh, they were seeing, they was hearing, and so on. Oh, I want to do that. So I started asking Spirit to write on the wall for me. So I put that focus on, and took a while before they actually wrote on the wall for me. But it turned out that my eyesight was drawn to different things around the room. It could be a picture, it could be a name tag on the wall, or something like that. And I started talking about that and finding out what Spirit was trying to show me through that.
Yeah.
And I managed to make them write so I could see they were writing on the wall, writing information on the wall. And it became quite hard work to work that way. So, and but it had the result that the information, some of the information I started bringing forward was quite factual, and I did like that. It became very factual in the way that I gave names, addresses, phone numbers, and all kinds of things.
Phone numbers as well. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, or part of phone numbers. And I thought, oh, this is great. And my ego came in a little bit, but I suddenly realized that being that factual and only factual became a little bit cold, if I can say so. The recipients couldn't feel the recipient, or couldn't feel the presence of Spirit. So I had to go back to, okay, I have to go back to basic. I need to go back feeling again.
Yeah.
But what happened is that my senses evolved, and while I was sensing, I could become more aware of how I could change my senses. So, okay, I feel this, and realize something is best felt, something is best see, something is best to hear. So I changed my senses. So if I feel something, I can maybe say to her, okay, well, I'm not saying Spirit, I'm saying to myself, I will just look at this this bit of information, or listen to that energy instead of feeling it. And in that way, I can, as an example, sometimes you can feel like, oh, I can feel a ring on my finger. So I can feel that ring. So I can, when I feel that ring, I can change my senses. So I can, okay, I'm gonna look at that ring. How do it look? So while seeing the ring, I can describe the ring.
Yeah.
So instead of just talking about a ring, that can be kind of an information, I can describe
that
the ring.
That was my next question, Jack. That was my next question.
So I do open the information into evidence that way by changing my senses.
Yeah.
So
my next question would have been how to deepen the evidence.
Yeah.
You know, you get the first piece and then trying to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
This was a perfect example.
Yeah. Another one I use sometimes is it started with having these grandmas at a certain age, and I realized they always had all the dates for the family, and they had it in a diary. So I thought, okay, show me your diary. So I'm physical, like hand up, put the diary in my hand, and went through it and said, oh, I can see here in August. There's birthday flag. It's Peter having a birthday here on the 24th of August. And Peter is coming in here. Peter is telling me he's your son.
Yes.
But first of all, I'm just aware of it's a birthday.
Okay.
So I use that to go into more into depth with. But I do physical things to make it more clear to myself what I'm actually doing.
I see.
Like with relation sometimes I have a sense of this is family. So where it's in family, sometimes sometimes I just put like a family tree up in front of me, just not a literary, but a
Yeah.
vision of a family tree. Okay, recipient is here, so we are going here, here, here. So I know we are here on father's side, and we're talking about father's brother here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
I
going
do
from
that
I
too.
know it's, I go more into where in the family is it. Does it work every time? No, but I try. And I think that's what we need to do as mediums. We have to try. We have to try to aim for stronger evidence. To aim for bringing the information into evidence, and not always it works the way we want it to. But one thing I can assure you, if you don't try, it definitely not happening.
Yeah,
So, and
that's
when you,
for sure.
yes, but when you're getting used to using these different kind of tools, you stop actually thinking about it, and you're just doing it as you're working. But then when you have the basic frame on days where you are maybe not on the top, or you're struggling a little bit, you have the basic frame. You go back to the basic frame, go back to the basics, and work your mediumship from there.
Yes.
And that's why
Yes.
it's important to me to understand the basics, to understand the mechanics behind the mediumship.
Yes. Yes, that's it. It's like you know the foundations of a house. If you don't have the foundation, good foundations, the house can't is not really strong and firm. So absolutely, absolutely, it's important. And because the debate, there's always this debate about whether going with give what you get, or mm, you know like asking questions to the communicator to get facts, facts, facts. When is enough? When
Yeah,
give freedom to the communicator to tell what they want
yeah.
to tell. I also
But
believe
if
in
you,
the intelligence of the communicator, so they
mm,
know that their loved ones need something concrete, something factual to know that it's
definitely.
them.
Yeah, and I do usually say to my students, you need to be in control of your mediumship, not being in control of spirits. So allow spirit to come forward what they want to bring forward. Then your job as a medium is put it in order.
I see.
And then when they're coming with an information, ask them, not demand them to come with new information as necessary, but ask them about the information they've already brought. So when you're becoming aware of the birthday, so what is a natural question then? Who who is it your birthday? Who has the birthday? When is the birthday? Who used to come to to the birthdays? It's natural questions. It's a natural communication, but sometimes we just forget it.
Yeah.
And the case is just give what you get. There is, first of all, we need to be aware as I said earlier, we need to be aware of it's a life-changing work we're doing. So we need to take responsibility for what we deliver and how we deliver it. So it's not just give what
Yes,
you're getting.
undoubtedly.
Giving us something
Undoubtedly.
certainly shouldn't be giving.
Yes,
So we
undoubtedly.
have to put that in order as well. But when they're coming forward, what we have to realize is they're not coming talking to us. They're not coming showing us pictures or movies. They're coming with an energy, and with that energy, we are reading that energy through our senses. We
Yes.
feel it, we hear it, we see it, we smell it, we taste it, and through our senses, we are translating that energy into words, going through our library, through our
Yeah.
database, through our
Reference.
understanding.
Our references. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So when they're coming with like as I said, when they're coming with a name, oh, I hear name Mark here. What is the relevance of Mark? I was asked, why are you talking about Mark? Where does Mark belong? First of all, is Mark in spirit or Mark here? Is it your name that is Mark? If his mom, it's probably not your name. But where does Mark belong? It's simple questions like that.
Yeah.
Why should we ask spirit about that? If we are talking for you and suddenly you said, "Oh, Mark," I would ask you, why are you saying Mark? What is the story about Mark?
Yes. Yes.
Is that natural communication that you're very aware of? So I believe, yeah, we should ask questions to spirit about into the information they're bringing forward, and through asking these questions to spirit, we will elevate. We will have the opportunity to elevate information into evidence,
Yes.
not
Yes.
demanding what we want from them. We
Yes.
can do that. It's not always they're giving it to us.
No, no, you know, I realized that myself actually,
Mm.
because they at times they want to say certain things, you know,
Mm.
and
But
then
for example, when we're on the platform, we know by experience that some of the latest, newest memories we have of our loved ones is their latest time. But
yeah,
that's not always.
no, no,
Sometimes there's some loved ones we haven't been around them for their later years. So we don't know much about their later years. So they would come talk about their younger days. And if we demand them to talk about their later days, because I need that as my ego need that because I need to bring this forward, it doesn't work. But we can
I
look
see.
after it because we know that that's actually factual evidence that is easy to remember and that is easy to recognize for somebody in the congregation.
Yes.
So
What is your let's say your most mm, with with evidence and with communication, when do you feel that you have fulfilled your role as a medium? I'm talking now when when you demonstrate for, I
um,
mean, for the communicator and for the recipient.
um, I think the best way I can answer it, it's when I have a sense of that the healing has been given. Because sometimes or often in my experience, when we're bringing that forward that communication built on the evidence, having that confirmation, I know that from myself when I have been receiving a message. If that evidence really is strong there, and if that evidence is given there, getting that confirmation, that's my daughter, that's my mom, or whoever it is, or that's my old friend, or who it might be that's coming to communicate.
Yeah.
Some often it really doesn't matter what they want to say, but just to know that they are present and the medium has brought that evidence forward, that starts a healing within me. And sometimes I have realized over the years, sometimes when we have those from spirit, where the relation to the recipient maybe hasn't been too good, by bringing the evidence, the factual evidence, because in those cases, often the emotional evidence is nothing worth, but the factual evidence can be what start that healing part. So next time they'll have a communication from the same in spirit, then there might come some emotional evidence with it. But to me, the reason, as was said in the introduction, when I started 30 years ago, it was with healing and trance. Reason I went into the evidential mediumship was because I realized how much healing there is within a proper evidential mediumship,
Yes, there is. There is.
and that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I actually designed the course. I think it's 2 years ago. A course that's just called the healing within mediumship, and that's how do we build uh, 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 how do we build a mediumistic reading, or how do we build a contact from spirit to achieve that goal about like kind of like building a house, a healing house, where when we have built that house, the healing will happen. We cannot
Oh,
force it, but we can build it through the evidence.
that's really interesting, Jack. That's really interesting. Yeah, I yes, I do believe as well in the power of healing of evidential mediumship of mediumship. Um, and there are many situations. I guess you witnessed many situations where there was either closure or you know healing happened. And um, I guess when you are demonstrating, you can feel that healing, that it's happening from both
Mm.
sides,
Yes,
isn't it?
and often yeah, both healing both sides, but also often the relation between the incarnate and discarnate, that relation, that's band good or bad, that band between the two worlds, that can be healed through that.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. And as you said earlier on, there's also with mediumship also comes a great responsibility,
Oh yes,
um,
well,
integrity and ethics to be aware of when demonstrating demonstrating either equal or not only in a public demonstration but also in private settings, because the purpose is to bring healing and upliftment to the recipient. um do you think that nowadays there's mm, people that pay less attention to the healing power of mediumship, or the responsibility that comes with mediumship?
uh, I believe what I see, there's a lack of it. There definitely is. In just as I look at it, uh, and as I said, to me, mediumship uh, if you're doing mediumship, do your best to do it proper. Don't take the loopholes. Don't take the quick fixes. But just walk the way through the development. Find some good tutors. Find some good mentors and people you can rely on. And I know it can be a jungle out there to find somebody to be with, but I know there is actually some quite good teachers out there. There's some good mediums out there,
Yes, of course.
and like when I see like mediums or teachers for that sake that are mixing a lot of psychic into the mediumship and just mess it up a lot. I'm not blaming them, but I actually blaming their tutors because that they haven't been taught properly. It's just my opinion. So it's just I know there's people that don't like my way of working, and that's perfectly fine with me. I often hear people say, "Oh, isn't there anything? Isn't there something for me? Can you say something to me about my life? How should I do so and so and so?" It's not for me to tell you. It's not for me to take responsibility of your life. And it's not for your loved ones to tell you. Sometimes your loved ones can come and give you advice in your life. That was a part of that relation you used to have. But in the end of the day, we need to take responsibility for our own life. What I can offer through the mediumship is that healing that can come with it. So it's and that's going back to the start. That's why, to me, the evidence, the real evidence within our mediumship, is just so important, because
Yeah.
that's where we make a difference. That's where we really makes a difference. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with psychic readings and things. That's a beautiful craft in its own rights. I have no problem with psychic readings at all. Just keep things separated and make clear what you're doing. We can do a psychic reading where there can be a sort of evidence, because I can do a psychic reading on you, Fulvia. I can tell you everything you know about yourself, and that will become evidence to you. But it's not evidence from spirits. That's just evidence that I'm a good psychic reader. But by bringing evidence about your mom or whoever I could have, bring that evidence and bring that strong factual evidence there, combined with emotional and spiritual mental evidence, bring it as a full package, then the healing will come.
Yeah, I see.
So medium
Sorry,
shop
sorry,
is not.
Jack. With this come to me comes is coming another question, and just because there are people who need also a psychic reading. They
Yeah.
need maybe you, you know there's free will. We all have free will and responsibility for our own life, but that you never know, someone might go through something, and they need, they don't know, and they want, they need guidance, just guidance, and then
Hmm?
they make their own mind. um I don't know. There's also this other component, and yes, our loved ones come through, and they're aware of what happened and what's happening in our life. But more than acknowledging, I don't know what's your What's your opinion on that?
Said psychic reading
I'm
can
just
really
asking
have
your
a great
opinion.
value.
It's
No, no, but let me just say that because yes, people do have needs for guidance and everything, and that can come in many different ways. Uh, um, that can come through a mediumship, that can come through psychic reading, that can come through mentorship, that can come through coaching, that can come through many different ways. And I believe it's up to the individual where they're looking forward. Uh, uh, for me, as a medium, as a teacher within mediumship, it's just important to talk about the importance within the evidence within the mediumship. If there is life guidance or not, if it's not built on strong evidence, to me, it's nothing worth. So
no.
that's
I was not saying mixing psychic and mediumship. I was. My question was, there are also people who need, for example, who need a psychic reading, not only
yes,
a mediumistic.
yes. But as I
Um,
said, and all respect for that, I'm not declining that at all. And I know there's some great psychics out there that can provide that. I can do a psychic reading if I wanted to, but I don't like to do them. I can more do like a developed format with what I call a spiritual assessment, but I built it in a way where it's a combination of a bit of psychic, a little bit working with guides, helpers, having a little bit of spirit, but the typical become evidential in one way or another. For example, I will start doing like doing a psychic reading. So, Fulvia, I'll start telling you what you know about yourself. So, and while I'm within your energy, I will look into your energy and see what do you have got us and help us that is close around you. I invite them to come closer to me, have a communication from them, can give advice from your guides and helpers. And at the same time, I will open the door to your loved ones. And while I'm talking to one of your guides and say, oh Fulvia, your guide is saying so and so and so, and grandfather is coming in and say, I won't bring forward a full evidential message from grandfather, but will bring the presence of grandfather and grandfather's opinion on that topic
I see.
that the guy is talking about. And sometimes it becomes a bit of the debate discussion between the guide and the loved ones because grandfather don't agree because that's who grandfather is. So
I
then it
see.
becomes evidential that way around. You understand that?
Yeah, I see. No,
So
I was thinking about my grandfather. I don't agree with the spirit, the guide. Okay, I see. Okay.
So, so
Anyways,
there's anyways, what is just important to me if we are giving advices, we have to be very much aware. Sometimes we cannot tell. I don't believe anybody can tell us anything about our future. We can talk about potentials.
yes,
We can talk about
yes.
potentials of the
It's
future,
it's a
but sometimes
potential
oh,
outcome. Yeah,
that was a really good psychic medium, whatever they call them. Everything they said have come through. But often, I believe when we've been told something, if we've been told something we like, we make it happen ourselves. So become what we have been told will be self-fulfilling. If we have been told
and
something we don't want to, then we will avoid it. And that's a bad psychic medium that told us that because it didn't come through,
yes,
because we
and
took a different
it
choice.
also can also happen that we make a different choice. We make a different
Exactly,
choice from what
exactly. So
nothing is set in stone.
no, exactly, and that's why we have to be uh,
Responsible
very conscious about when we're talking about future and things. We can talk about potentials.
potential. Yeah.
And usually, I have people coming sometimes asking, "Oh, can you see if there's a new job for me?" And my first question back will always be, "Are you looking for a new job?" Say no. Okay, as long as you're not looking, there won't be any. As simple as that.
Yeah.
If you want a new
You
job, go
know,
and look for a new job.
when I get a question about the future, I the beginning I was, was kind of freaking out, and then I realized that we build our future in the present.
Yeah,
So what I say now is that, look after the present, look after what you're doing now,
yeah,
and your future, as you said about the job. If you're not looking for a job, how can you find a job?
yeah.
And
I remember many years ago, I had a client that was coming, and she had her sitting, and evidently sitting, and at the end I always ask any question you want to ask, and meaning for what have been said so far. And her question was, "Oh, can you see if there's a man for me?" I just looked at her. I just came out of my mouth. Don't you think you need to go and finish with the one you have now? Because that was what I saw, and I didn't think about it. Just said it. Became a bit awkward situation, but you mean if I said, "Oh yeah, there's a nice handsome dark-haired man waiting around the corner," she might have gone home to get a divorce. Now I gave her advice. If you're having that thought, why do you have that? I can look at what is your role in it, why, and so on. So I gave her some advice. So you need to go back and talk to your husband you have at home, and sort things out. Find out what do you want to do together.
yeah. Yeah, those I think those type of readings, relationships readings are, I don't want to say difficult, but at times, of course, because and
I
anyway,
think the essence for me here is people are living after what we are telling them. So we really should be aware of what we are telling them.
yeah. Well, I'm very much aware of that, so I always, the famous disclaimer before starting a reading, because it's really, especially when you see people who are struggling or are vulnerable, um yeah, uh, or might they might act on what they are told in a reading. Yeah, it's a great responsibility. It's a great
Yeah.
responsibility. Yes. Yes.
That's why I
Okay.
always I don't care whatever you do, just do it proper. Just be good at what you're doing.
Yes. Undoubtedly, Jack. Undoubtedly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jack. It was really w- interesting having this conversation with you, and you know going through again about the importance of evidence, the type of evidence, and how they can have an impact on in a reading, in a demonstration, and the healing power of mediumship and of the evidence. Okay, I thank you again, Jack, and thank you to all those who joined the live session. And I'll see you back soon with a new guest and a new subject. And as usual, I'm not going to tell you who and who the new guest is and what the subject is. And you'll find out when we'll come back with the spiritual chat show. I would like to thank again Jack Eckhart Langelund for being the guest this evening. If you are interested, Jack has a Facebook page which is called the Danish Spiritualist Association. Jack, the Facebook
Yes,
page, right? And
yes, Danish.
if you want to connect with Jack, Jack also does private sittings and platform demonstrations online. Um, you can get in touch with Jack through his Facebook page. So, thank you again. Thank you to Universal Spiritualism. And thank you, Stace, for being the admin and the moderator this evening. And see you all soon, everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.